acceptable to allow the prosecution to say, we want to use this evidence to convict the defendant and send him to jail for the rest of his life, and we want to keep our options open to prosecute that same witness for perjury for the testimony that we're relying on. With respect to the suggestion of waiver, there hasn't been any waiver here, Your Honor. We are pursuing every potential remedy that the court has available. The fact that we were willing to accept an instruction last week in lieu of pursuing our right of cross-examination does not foreclose us from insisting on that right when the instruction has been denied. And we're left back with square one again, a witness that the prosecution wants to rely on that we have not had the opportunity to fully confront and cross-examine as guaranteed to us by the Constitution of the United States and the state of California.
All right. Thank you, counsel.
In light of the fact, I just want to cite cases to the court because we have not been allowed to. But if we got 15 minutes notice, we were not allowed to file moving papers in this. I just have some cases to cite to the court.
Cases.
People versus Cooper.
Is that the Kevin Cooper case?
Yes.
I'm familiar with
53
it.
Cal 3rd, 771 for the proposition that the Confrontation Clause guarantees an opportunity for effective cross-examination, not cross-examination that is effective in whatever way and to whatever extent the defense might wish.
What other case?
People versus Superior Court, Piedrahita, P-I-E-D-R-A-H-I-T-A, 34 Cal 4th, 508 for the same proposition. And Delaware versus Van Arsdal, A-R-S-D-A-L-L, 475 U.S. 673.
All right. Thank you. I'm familiar with those cases. With respect to the first request to strike the testimony of Detective Furman as it relates to his discovery of the Rockingham glove, I find that prior to the arguments, the submission of the arguments concerning the request for a jury instruction, that request was waived. Assuming the waiver that, notwithstanding that waiver, assuming the defendant has the right to renew the request subsequent to the action by the Court of Appeal, I find that with regard to the issue presented and most forcefully argued, that is regarding the issue of the discovery of the glove, that Mr. Furman was in fact cross-examined with regard to that specific issue. There was a full opportunity to cross-examine him over 6 days. The motive to, the defense was aware of the comments of Ms. Bell. Detective Furman was cross-examined as to the allegations made by Ms. Bell, and there was in fact the full and complete opportunity at that time. As to the request that the court order the prosecution to grant use immunity, the court finds that the facts and circumstances in Garner are very unlike the facts and circumstances in this case. In that case, the sole evidence that was presented of the defendant's guilt was the preliminary hearing testimony that was presented because the witness was no longer available, having claimed the Fifth Amendment privilege. Here, the situation is that Mr. Furman was subjected to cross-examination, direct and cross-examination over a 6-day period. His testimony encompasses 6 full volumes of this court's transcripts. He was ably examined and cross-examined. Garner is distinguishable. The court finds no other authority for the proposition that this court can either on its own grant immunity or direct the prosecuting agency to do so. With regard to the request to recall Detective Furman, the court has previously ruled on that issue. That ruling will stand. The court has previously ruled on giving a jury instruction. This court's ruling on that issue was overturned by the Court of Appeal. I have no authority to go beyond that. And with regards to the declarations against interest, that is a renewal of that request, and the court's previous ruling will stand for the reasons previously stated. All right, we'll stand in recess until 1 o'clock. All parties are again present. Jury is not present. All right, Mr. Cochran, what's your position on the defense ability to rest at this time?
Well, let me indicate the following to the court. Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, sir.
As the court is aware, the defense really never rests. But more specifically, in this case, we cannot rest at this point for a number of reasons. First of all, if the court pleases, we would like an opportunity to take a writ regarding the ruling of the court this morning. The court will recall that I guess it was last Thursday, the prosecution indicated they wanted to take a writ, and the court was kind enough to give them, in fact, more time than Mrs. Clark had asked for. We are very mindful of our jury back there, but we want to take a writ on this whole issue because we're in a situation, Your Honor, where we've talked a lot about a search for truth, where this jury will basically be lied to, that they will not understand what really happened in this courtroom. You're not permitted to give a jury instruction. So far, we can't call him back. This man has lied and perjured himself to the entire world.
Well, Mr. Cochran, the point being you want to take a writ.
Yes,
So
we want to
you're
take a
not-
writ. And we would like to take this writ, Your Honor, and we'd like, I was just about to ask our court reporters how soon we can get the transcripts. And I would ask, I talked to Mr. Dennis Fisher, who will be handling the writ, and he needs basically until tomorrow afternoon because he's got to get the transcript and all the documents together to do that. That's the first thing I'd like to point out to the court. Secondly, so that we might have some, there's also another issue regarding our inability to rest. The court will recall that Mr. Scheck and I appeared in your chambers under 1054-7. There's a critical witness in this case who shall remain nameless at this point, that we think there will be startling evidence regarding before this week is out that we may want to impeach further, may want to call back for further cross-examination. We expect by Wednesday that information will be available. We think there are also Brady implications regarding this entire witness, so we can't rest regarding him. Finally, in addition to the writ, we would like to call Detective Furman back to the stand for a specific non-necessary testimonial circumstance, and it's as follows. You'll recall that during Mr. Darden's cross-examination of Ms. McKinney, it seems as though he attacked her credibility. You remember the colloquy between the two of them. They can say all they want in argument, but we know what's happened before this particular jury. And so we would like to call Mark Furman to the stand, and I'd like specifically to have him utter those words that were played on that tape, so that once and for all we can determine whether or not that's his voice, and this jury knows that's his voice. We have an absolute right to do that, and he's under no Fifth Amendment problems regarding that, and so we'd like to do that. Those are the various things that we would like to do at this point. If we can get Furman down here, we can do that and go on, but other than that, we need to stay for the writ. And then the other thing involving the witness will become obvious, I think, by Wednesday at the latest. As far as being able to do other things, Your Honor, my colleagues are very, very anxious to be able to argue to Your Honor the balance of the motion regarding scope. There's some issue regarding RFLP results. There's all kind of things that we can do.
Well, that argument is scheduled for 5 o'clock this
Oh, is it?
afternoon.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, very well.
The Bronco, Gary Sims, et cetera, I think it's set for 5 o'clock this afternoon is my recollection.
I think the balance of the scope argument, so maybe we can hear that perhaps before that time. I think Mr. Blasier has more on the balance of the prosecution's
All right.
idea of scope of the court, please.
All right, what's the people's position?
I believe that one of the orders issued by the Court of Appeals was that there would be no further stays. Secondly, when the people requested their stay, there was no minute of time lost. The court indicated we would begin rebuttal on Monday morning, and we then proceeded immediately during the time that the writ was being prepared to argue the admission of exhibits. There was not 1 minute of time lost in this trial. We did not start 1 minute later than we would have. So our writ took no time away from the jury or away from the court. With respect to Mr. Cochran's request to delay again until Wednesday, I think it is ridiculous. It is up to this court. This court's aware of what the information is, and I'm not. So, you know, we are operating at a real deficit here. I don't know what would qualify under 1054.7 at this late date. But Mr. Cochran, if he has no further witnesses to call before this jury, has to rest. That's all he has to do. And if he wants to take a writ, he may take the writ. He's always entitled to do that. That's fine. But not take any more time away from this jury. If he has no further witnesses for this jury to hear, he's through. And the court has the power and, in fact, the duty at this point to say, it's over. It's over. There's just so much that they can do to mess around with who fantasize about other people that have startling new evidence. Only the court is aware of how startling or new it might really be. Or if it's even admissible before the jury. Who knows? I have no idea.
Nothing startles me anymore.
I can understand that, and I think I share that, Your Honor. But nevertheless, this is another filibuster proposed by the defense. It's the 11th hour. We have witnesses sitting upstairs that we have flown in, waiting to testify in front of this jury, but we will not begin, we can't begin our rebuttal case until they rest, and it's time that they do. I mean, that's enough monkeying around here.
All right.
I don't need counsel to tell us when to rest our case. I've indicated to the court where we are in this situation. And it's a flat-out untruth. What happened was that she'd asked for until Friday noon, she'd asked until Friday morning. Your Honor gave her until Friday noon. And then you said that we were going to start rebuttal Friday afternoon. Had nothing to do with her. The jurors had something planned on Friday afternoon. So, I mean, they can't ever get the record straight. There was a delay. There was no question there was a delay by virtue of them seeking a writ. Now, when we asked for a writ, and under circumstances, and it would seem to me they join in this, because the record, Your Honor's hands have been somewhat tied. We talked all this time about truth to this jury. This jury's not getting the truth. And we cannot say we rest in good conscience. As officers of the court, we're not going to say those words. Further, you do know about the 1054-7. I think they should know. And that's why I said there's Brady implications about this. A lot of people know about this. And so certainly now that we've become aware of it, we brought it to Your Honor's attention, and we have a right to pursue that. It's a key witness in this case also. So that for those reasons, we're not wasting any time. We would ask leave of court to do these various things. They brought this writ. We have a right to do it. And the point I should point out, Your Honor, is this, how unfair it all is. What happened was, they bring their writ. The Court of Appeals issues some kind of preliminary stay. We never get a chance to file anything. Your Honor then withdraws the jury instruction. They then rule the issue mooted. Mr. Simpson hasn't been able to file one piece of paper at this point. What kind of fairness is that? He's talking about wasting time, and nobody's monkeying around. This is serious business, and we want our opportunity to have a chance to file some papers. And just before lunch, Dean Uelmen and I spoke with Mr. Fisher. He's prepared to go forward at this point. So this is serious business. We want to make this thing as clear as possible. The court can see why we cannot rest at this point. And I think that, it's a little late for the people to be arguing this, Your Honor, because they're the ones who precipitated this problem. If you had gone ahead, as we'd ask you to give that jury instruction, we wouldn't have this problem. It would have been over at this point, but they saw fit to take their writ. We have a right to do the same thing. And the court gave them a stay. And as far as the Court of Appeals, I think they misconstrued. I cannot believe that a Court of Appeals in this state would tell you that you can't grant any further stays at all in this case, no matter what happens. They might as well come down and try the case if that's the case. Maybe they want to do that. But that sounds to me to be rather illogical. And you may take them up on it, perhaps, that look on your face. But I can't believe that was the intent. I know Judge Turner, and I'm sure that wasn't his intent or his import. I think that he likes novels.
He might enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, Judge, he has a lot of reading to do. As you were aware earlier a couple of weeks ago, he'd have a lot of reading to do before he can catch up with this case. But I think we have a right to do this, Your Honor. This is not wasting any time, and there's other things that we can do. I am not, on behalf of my client, prepared to rest. You can imagine how Mr. Simpson felt on Friday. All these things went by through fax machines and telephones, and we're finding out on the news what's happening. What do we say to our client there who's asking for a fair trial? All he wants is a fair trial. And all these things are going on, and he never gets a chance to file one piece of paper. And then it's all of a sudden it's mooted out. and then you're told, well, look, you can't do this. We don't have to accept that. You may want to accept it. We don't accept it. We want to do something about it.
I'm just a poor trial court judge.
Well, no, no. You're too kind, Your Honor. You're much more than that. But I think we have a right to do that, Your Honor, because really, all of us have roles, transitory roles. But with regard to Mr. Simpson in seriousness, this has an effect upon him. It affects his life and the rest of his life, his ability to get a fair trial. And that's what we're trying to do, Your Honor. That's why it's so serious.
Thank you, counsel. All right, at this point, the court is mindful, first and foremost, of the burdens that we've placed on our jury and the fact that they've been seated in our lounge waiting for the presentation of additional evidence today. Likewise, on the basis of the request, these are extraordinary issues. I don't think anybody would agree that, I think everybody would agree that these are unusual and unique legal issues. And if the defense wishes to pursue their writ remedies, then they have every right to do so. And I am not going to require the defense at this time to rest. What I will do, though, is exercise my discretion under the Penal Code and direct that the prosecution, having indicated their ability to go forward with their rebuttal case, direct that they begin presenting their rebuttal witnesses at this time. Defense will have leave to present further witnesses in their case in chief on defense. All right, that'll be the ruling.
Listen to Mr. Blasier with regard to the rebuttal aspect.
Wait, before you do that, what we're facing here then is for the ability for the people have to go forward with their rebuttal evidence.
That's correct.
And the defense will then be allowed to resume its case in chief at some point during that rebuttal case, perhaps even including witnesses to rebut what we put on during our rebuttal case?
No, their case in chief, counsel, subject to the same scope issues. All right, let's proceed.
Will the court at least require that the defense put on the record outside the presence of the people exactly what witnesses they intend to present in their case in chief to conclusion, so that nothing is added as a result of the people's rebuttal evidence?
That's been done in the 1054.7 hearing this morning.
And at what point is the court going to determine that the people have the right to find out, to get disclosure of that secret information?
As soon as the investigation as to that issue has been concluded and the issue is available for public dissemination. That may happen sooner than you think.
Perhaps today?
I don't think today, but perhaps by the end of the week.
Perhaps by the end of the week. What if the people have to rest their rebuttal case without knowing about that?
Well, that's the nature of 1054.7, unfortunately.
Can the court take the waiver of the defendant?
They haven't rested their case yet, so I'm not inclined to take the waiver from the defendant at this point.
Is there any limitation that the court is going to place on the nature of the testimony they present in their case in chief?
They have made a proffer under 1054.7 as to what they might go into.
And there are no other witnesses other than what's contained in the proffer of under 1054.7 that they can call in their case in chief at this time?
That's my inclination at this time.
Then perhaps we offer to the court the option of asking them to rest subject to the availability of the information under 1054.7.
I'm not going to require them to do so, and it's within my discretion not to require them to do so. I exercise my discretion in that manner. All right, Deputy Magnero, let's bring the jurors down, please.
Okay. One other question, Your Honor. Could Your Honor care to rule on the aspect we wanted to call Detective Furman for the purpose of having him state those words that were allowed on the one incident Your Honor allowed us to play that was on tape? I don't think you can claim the Fifth Amendment for that.
All right, that request is denied. All right, thank you.
My understanding that you ordered that all the glove evidence be brought down so we could evaluate. That hasn't been done. I have not received the letter that they wrote to Rubin with the pictures that he was sent. I see some boards over here. I've never seen any boards. I thought that the pictures I got last week were the ones they're going to use. I'm not ready for Mr. Rubin. I heard a rumor that they're going to call him right now. I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for the direct or the cross. Photographer's fine if we can sort out which pictures they can use and which ones they can't.
I already advised
Mr.
Mr.
Darden.
Blasier. Good afternoon, Your Honor. I advised Mr. Blasier earlier that there were two witnesses that we were certainly not going to call who were on the list, nor were we going to use their photographs. There was a third witness who I advised him was most likely not going to be
All
called
right.
as well.
Which photographers are you going to call?
Are we going to or not?
Are you going to call?
Mark Krueger, Bill Renken, Kevin Schott, Karen Brown, Stuart West, Jim Chesna, Mike Romano, Robert Seed, and Deborah Dudera.
All right, while we're bringing the jurors down, I'm going to ask you to exhibit to counsel the photographs that you're going to use.
For the record, I've never received a print on Schott. I like that as a bad color Xerox. It doesn't show you anything.
All right, who are your first two photographers?
Krueger and Renken.
All right, do you have those photographs?
Yes.
All right, show them to counsel.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Oh, wait.
I'm fine, how are you? Nice tie.
I'm glad to hear that.
Mr. Neufeld, let me resolve this issue first.
Renken, they have 10 pictures of the same game. I don't know why they feel they need 10. I was told that they were going to use 2. Krueger is not down here yet.
They're taken from different angles, Your Honor, and at different times during the day, which is important because at one point a flash was used, at another point a flash was not used. So all of these pictures are relevant. I mean, this is
All right, I just want to make sure that they've been shown to Mr. Blasier, that he's had copies of them, he's had the ability to look at them. And the second witness, you don't have the photographs down here yet?
somebody else. I really,
Your Honor, I have asked him to bring him down. He must
Because
have
this morning I ordered all of this stuff to be brought down, if you recollect. I hate all the
it was
time
down
we're
here
wasting.
this morning. It was down here this morning, and then we took it back up at lunch.
All right, is this the photograph?
Yeah, I've never seen this, Your Honor, this exhibit. I've seen the smaller ones.
Council has seen this photograph, not this big.
I thought that the court had ordered that I be provided with photographs the same size, the same quality as theirs, so I could show them to experts. Haven't seen this one.
Let me advise the court that photomicrographs introduced by Mr. McDonald were not shown to me
Wait.
until he was on the witness
Wait.
stand.
Apples and oranges, counsel. All right, you have a copy, however, of that photograph, correct, Mr. Blasier?
The smaller ones that they have, yeah, not this one.
She has a smaller version of this one, too.
All right,
Yeah, that's correct.
okay.
Not close.
All right, is this a larger photograph with regards to the second witness?
Yes.
All right, how
Yeah.
about the third witness?
No, that's Renken.
Yeah, that's the second witness.
Who's the first? Krueger. Oh, haven't seen Krueger.
Krueger's we haven't seen?
Yes. Council has seen Krueger's.
Yeah, I haven't seen it
I'll bring
now.
them back down again.
All right, bring them down here. Let's get the jury down here. All right, let's proceed.
Your Honor, I was just given 3 more pictures that have nothing to do with gloves, but are from one of the photographers that purport to have Mr. Simpson in what appears to be a kind of a team photo with no gloves on. But more importantly, I have a still photo of Mr. Simpson on a football field with, I guess, these old timers, I'm not sure, with 1 foot off the ground. And they want to introduce this to show that this proves that Mr. Simpson could run the 40-yard dash or something, I think is what I was told. This is the first we've heard of this. Completely different topic. We object to it. This is a still photo, doesn't show anything. So we would object to these.
Ms. Clark?
Yes, we just got him last night. The witness came in, and we met for the first time. He had brought photographs in with him that we had never seen before. He showed me this one where he did the 40-yard commemorative run, and I'll just show the court as obviously direct impeachment and rebuttal of the defense case concerning Mr. Simpson's physical ability.
When was this?
End of November 93. November 21, 93.
Judge?
Why doesn't the court look at it? Still photos capture people in movement all the time. And it will illustrate his testimony because this witness...
He's way behind and he's wearing wingtips.
Right, he's running in dress shoes. Right. But the witness saw him do the run.
I doubt that this witness has the expertise to testify about any infirmities Mr. Simpson might have.
He certainly testified to his observation that he saw him running.
What was his time?
I'm inclined to go forward with the testimony regarding photographs of the gloves. This is something completely new. It's going to delay our proceeding at this point. I'm not going to allow it at this point. I'll think about it, but at this point the answer is no. All right, let's proceed.
Yeah, we also have other scope arguments that we wanted
With regards to this witness,
No, with
I
regard...
want to get some witnesses in front of the jury now.
Judge, I have no problem with that. Can we just have your assurance then that we can deal with the other scope of rebuttal arguments?
Yes,
as soon as the
absolutely.
jury leaves this afternoon?
Absolutely. We're scheduled for 5 o'clock, starting with RFLP and the Bronco.
One last thing, the court is going to indicate something to the jury that we have not rested.
Yes, absolutely.
Count that for us.
I told you I would do that.
Okay.
Yes, you may. Deputy Magnera?
Make sure they don't have any photographs lying on the table. They're not going to be... Perhaps turn those over and put them away.
The running photographs. Seated. You all look vaguely familiar. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let the record reflect that we've been rejoined by all the members of our jury panel. Ladies and gentlemen, my apologies to you for the delay in getting started today. As I mentioned to you, there were a number of significant legal issues that I had to resolve, and some of which are still unresolved. As a result, the defense has indicated to me that they have not finalized their decision whether to rest their case at this point in time. And I have allowed them to delay that decision for a brief period of time to give them the opportunity to contemplate the legal issues and the factual issues that are involved in making that decision. However, as the trial court judge, I have the discretion to adjust the order in which evidence is presented to you, and I have decided to exercise that discretion, and I am directing the prosecution to make use of this time by beginning the presentation of some of their rebuttal witnesses. So at this time, you should understand that the defense has not formally rested their case. However, the prosecution will take advantage of this time, since we have you here, to begin presenting rebuttal witnesses as to their rebuttal case. So you should underline that we're shifting focus at this point in time, but we have not concluded the defense case yet. All right, Ms. Clark, are you prepared to present a new witness on your rebuttal case?
Yes, I am.
All right, you may call your first rebuttal witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. People call me Mark Krueger.
All right, Mr. Krueger, would you stand right there, please, and face Mrs. Robertson, our clerk?
Raise your right hand, please. You do solemnly swear that the testimony you may give in class not to be before this court should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Please have a seat and witness stand and state your first and last names for the record.
Mark Krueger.
Can you have a seat, please?
Why don't you have a seat, please? And pull the microphone close to you, please. All right, would you state and spell your name, Mr. Krueger?
Mark Krueger, M-A-R-K-K-R-U-E-G-E-R.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Clark.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Krueger, can you tell us, sir, are you a professional photographer?
No.
I'm directing your attention, sir, to the date of December 29th, 1990. On that date, can you tell us where you were?
Soldier Field in Chicago, Illinois.
And why were you in Soldier Field in Chicago?
I was shooting photos for my stepfather's newspaper. He's the editor of the newspaper, and I went in and would take shots for the paper.
And what kind of shots were you taking? What were you there for?
Chicago Bears shots, just anything I could get that's interesting.
And was that was a football game?
Yeah.
The Bears versus who?
Kansas City Chiefs.
And where exactly were you, sir?
All
Where on the
over.
field?
I was on the sidelines, in the end zone, probably every spot on the field.
But you were on the field, that
I
is
was-
not on the bleachers.
Right, I was.
Give me a second. Mr. Krueger, take your time, take a breath. Let Ms. Clark finish asking you the question before you begin to answer. The court reporter has difficulty taking down two people at the same time.
Okay.
All right? Thank you. Ms. Clark.
At some point during this trial, sir, did you send to the prosecution a photograph that you took during that Bears versus Chiefs game on December 29th, 1990?
Yes, I did.
Mrs. Roberts.
People's next in order, Your Honor.
605.
Thank you. Showing you People's 605, sir. Can you please tell me if you recognize the photograph I'm showing you?
Yes, I do.
And what is that?
It's a picture of O.J. Simpson at a football game, at the game I was at.
And is that the photograph that you took, sir?
Yes, it is.
Now, does this photograph show him wearing any gloves?
Yes.
What does it show him wearing?
Does it show him wearing gloves?
Yes. Is he wearing gloves in this picture?
Yes, he is.
May I show it to the jury, Your Honor, on the Elmo?
Yes.
After that, I'm going to ask leave of the court, if I may, to tape it up to the blank board that you see on the easel with a label for the date underneath, if I may, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Fairlow, do you have your glare? Thank you.
This is the photograph that you took, sir?
Did you want me to look at this or up there?
Yes, you can look at, do you have it on your monitor?
Yeah, it's on my monitor. Yeah, I can see it.
Is that the photograph you took on December 29th, 1990?
Yes.
I have two other enlargements, Your Honor. May I ask that they be marked 605A and B?
605 A and B, have you shown those to Mr. Blasier?
Yes. For the record, 605A will be the smaller enlargement. 605B will be the enlargement that focuses on the glove.
All right. A and B as noted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Showing you 605A and B, sir, can you tell us if these are accurate enlargements of the photograph that we previously marked 605 that you took on December 29th, 1990?
Yeah, they look like the same ones to me.
If I may, Your Honor, I'm going to put these up on the blank board.
Yes.
Your Honor, is this water for me?
No, it's not. Is that, Mrs. Robertson, the water is fresh? It's fresh.
Yeah, I thought.
All right.
Thanks.
I'm going to let Mr. Fertile do it, if that's all right.
Sure.
Now, what color are these gloves, sir?
They appear to be black to me.
Do you recall what time it was that you took this photograph?
Not exactly. I knew it was at the end of the Bears game, and I would assume it was probably about 2 to 2:30 in the afternoon, Chicago time.
And do you recall where you were, how far away from him you were when you took this picture?
Probably 10 to 15 feet.
Can you describe the weather?
It was rainy, just a dark, cloudy day. You know, it wasn't like pouring rain, but it was just constantly a drizzle all day.
Do you recall what kind of camera you used?
Canon AE1.
And do you recall the film speed?
It was 1600, I believe.
Can you tell us whether you used a zoom lens for this picture?
Yes.
What kind was that?
It was the model or the zoom?
Both.
Actually, it was a Sears 70 to 210 millimeter zoom lens.
All right, now, when you had these developed, did you develop them yourself or send them out to a lab?
I sent them to Photoshop, 1 hour Photoshop.
No, any special processing, sir?
No,
Did you use a flash for this?
no.
Were there any lights on in the area during when you took the photograph?
Actually, I don't think they did put the lights on that day.
And did you send the negatives to the prosecution for us to verify the authenticity of this photograph?
Yes.
Now, if I may, I'd like to label these photographs with the date and the witness's name.
All right, why don't you show the label to Mr. Blasier?
December 29th, 1990, Mark Krueger.
All right.
Actually, Ms. Blasier, do you need this for the Uelmen? Do you want to question him on it, or shall I put it on the board? No, you don't need it? You want one for the Uelmen? Okay, I'm going to ask leave of the court to place that with tape on the board when we've concluded all the testimonies, and Mr. Blasier can use it for anything.
Certainly. Thank you. Ms. Clark, any further questions for Mr. Krueger? All right, Mr. Blasier, cross-examine.
Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Krueger, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
Good. Now, this picture was taken in December of 1990, correct?
Correct.
At some point, you sent the photograph to the prosecutors in this case, correct?
Yes.
When did you send it to them?
I believe it was just right before the end of their prosecution case. It was
And
probably about right around, I think it was like the 1st of July or somewhere maybe around between the 1st and the 4th of July.
now, I take it you had seen Mr. Rubin testify? Is that what prompted you to send the picture?
No.
What prompted you to send the picture?
Uh,
Objection, Your Honor. Irrelevant.
Over.
they said the gloves didn't fit, and they were talking about the shrinkage, and I just had this photo, so I just brought it into evidence. I figured it would.
Okay. And so you sent it to them before they rested their case.
Yes.
Did they follow up and call you and tell you anything or do anything at that point?
And they just said
Over.
they'd be in touch with me if they needed anything further. They needed to verify if it was actually the same gloves, and if they found out it was, then there'd be a chance they might need me to testify.
And they told you that at some point?
Yes.
Now, how cold was it that day?
I would say anywhere from 30 to 35 degrees.
And were there a lot of people at this game?
It's packed.
A lot of people wearing gloves?
Yeah, I would assume. I don't know that. That was the last thing on my mind was gloves. I wasn't looking to see that.
But it was a real cold day?
Not real cold. For that time of the year, it wasn't really all that cold.
Did you have gloves on?
No.
Did you take note of any other people's gloves?
No.
Anything particularly unusual about these gloves that you saw?
Actually, I didn't see him that day.
Okay. When you looked at the picture, there's nothing particularly unusual that you can see in there, is there?
No.
Objection.
Over.
Now, I want you to look at the blow-up on the right on the board. Maybe you could step down just a second.
I think that's 605B.
605B. And can you see how it appears to be that there's some sort of a lump or bunching up in the palm area?
Yeah.
Let me put that on the Elmo and see if that shows up. You can go ahead and take your seat and look in the monitor. Use the telestrator. Now, you see the area that I've circled, or that Mr. Harris has circled on the monitor?
Yes.
And that's the area that appears to be a bulge or bunched up in some fashion?
Yeah.
You know what a heat pack is?
No.
You know, have you ever seen the devices that you can break and generates heat? You can put them in your gloves?
It's all called speculation, Your Honor.
Have you ever seen such?
Evidence.
Excuse me. Have you ever seen such a thing?
Yeah, I've seen him.
Now, did you at any time take notice of Mr. Simpson take anything out of those gloves or put anything in them, or did you even bother to notice anything like that?
Like I said, I never saw the glove even. I was just getting a picture of OJ.
Okay. Now, there's no doubt in your mind that those gloves are black, is there?
From what I can see, I believe him to be black.
All right. Thank you. That's all I have.
Redirect, Ms. Clark. Yes. All right, I take it, Mr. Blasier, you want that marked as an exhibit?
Blasier.
The printout? All right, just for simplicity's sake, I'm going to make that 605C. Ms. Clark?
Does that glove appear to be kind of short at the wrist, sir?
The photograph speaks for itself.
Sustained.
Why did you select this photograph to send to the prosecution, sir?
Overruled.
Why did I select it? I mean, it wasn't like that was the only photo I had, and it was just seemed like it was evidence to me.
Did it seem like this glove fit very much the way the glove fit in court?
Sustained. That's for the jury to decide.
Mr. Blasier asked you why you sent us the photograph. You recall that? And you told him because you'd heard some people say that the glove didn't fit?
Right.
And what was your opinion, sir?
Sustained.
Why did you send us the photograph when you heard people say that?
Overruled.
Because of the shrinkage test. I'm sorry. What was the question again?
Why, after you heard that remark, did you send us this photograph, sir?
Because I thought it didn't fit.
Because you thought what?
The glove did not fit.
Okay. And does it look like that glove? Did it look like that glove to you?
Sustained.
Does this glove look small on him to you, sir?
Sustained. Speaks for itself, counsel.
Does the glove appear to be up at the palm area, sir?
Picture
Overruled.
speaks for itself.
Overruled. You ask about bunching.
Actually, it appears to be above the palm. I assume the palm it's above the palm.
Does it appear short to you?
From the gloves I've worn, I mean, I've never owned a pair of these gloves, so I couldn't say, but from gloves that I've owned, I mean, usually they cover your palm.
Then your answer is yes.
Yes. That they appear short, yes.
Mr. Blasier?
Never worn gloves with a heat pack in them or in the palm?
Objection irrelevant.
Overruled.
No facet evidence, Your Honor.
Overruled.
No.
Now, was there something about, when you heard the testimony, did you hear any testimony to the effect that the evidence gloves in this case were black?
Could you rephrase that, please?
Yeah. When you were alerted and decided to send in this picture, had you heard any testimony about the evidence gloves being black?
No, I hadn't.
Thank you.
Yes, I have nothing further of this witness. May I ask to pass around the small photograph to the jury?
Yes. All right, Mr. Krueger, thank you very much, sir. You're excused. Thank you for coming to L.A. All right, Mr. Fairtlow, would you hand that, please, to juror number 1? Clark, would you summon your next witness, please?
Bill Renken.
All right, I need to allow the jurors to each examine, but I want you to make sure your witness is available. Stand by. We're having the jurors look at one of the photographs. Would you retrieve the photograph, please? All right, let the record reflect that each of the jurors has had the opportunity to review and evaluate People's Exhibit 605. Ms. Clark, people may call the next witness.
Thank you. People call Mr. Bill Renken.
All right, Mr. Renken, would you face Mrs. Robertson, the clerk?
Raise your right hand, please. You do solemnly swear that the testimony you may give in class not to before this court should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please have a seat. The witness stand and state and spell your first and last names for the record.
Name is Bill Renken, Billrenken.
Ms. Clark.
Good afternoon, Mr. Renken.
Good afternoon, Ms. Clark.
Are you a professional photographer, sir?
Yes, I am.
And do you have a photo lab of your own?
I work with a custom photo lab, Western Hills Photo, in Cincinnati.
Now, directing your attention to the date of January 6, 1991, can you tell us where you were on that date, sir?
I was at Riverfront Stadium covering a playoff game between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Houston Oilers.
And when you say you were covering the game, where was that?
That was at Riverfront Stadium.
In Cincinnati?
In Cincinnati, yes. Mm-hmm.
And were you covering it for the purpose of taking photographs in your professional capacity?
That's correct.
Can you tell us where you were when you took those photographs?
The series, I was on the sidelines.
And what sidelines were you on, sir?
I was on the Bengals side.
Did you take photographs of the defendant during that game, sir?
Yes, I did.
And how far away from him where you took those photographs?
I'd say approximately roughly 10 to maybe 15 feet away.
And did you cause one of those photographs to be enlarged?
Yes.
People's next in order, Your Honor.
606.
Thank you.
Is that correct, Mrs. Robertson? 606.
Showing you People's 606, sir. Can I ask you to tell us if this is a photograph that you took on January 6, 1991 in Cincinnati?
Yes, it is.
And does this photograph accurately depict the shot that you took?
Yes, it does.
1386, can you see that? 165, can you see that, sir? Yes, sir. Thank you.
Now, with respect to that particular, did you take photographs throughout the day during that game?
Yes, I did.
And did you take some at halftime, sir?
Yes, I did.
Did you also take some at the end of the game?
Yes, I did.
Can you tell us what time this one was taken?
I'd say it was, obviously that one is post-game after interview. It could be 5:30, 6 o'clock, Cincinnati time.
Can you tell us, sir, whether there was any artificial lighting when you took this photograph?
No, there wasn't.
Did you use a flash?
Not on this picture.
I'll show you another photograph, actually it'd be marked People's 606A.
All right, People 606A, have you shown that to Mr. Blasier? All right, 606A appears to be a 8 by 11.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor, I'm sorry. 606A is an 8 by 11 showing the defendant holding a microphone turned towards his left. It's in a slightly different posture than the one that is 606. And showing you this photograph, sir, can you tell us if this is another photograph that you took of the defendant at the Bengals game on January 6, 1991?
Yes, it is.
And is this a halftime or post-game photograph, if you can tell us?
This is a post-game.
Your Honor, with leave of the court, I'm going to ask to tape this one to the board as well. This is, when I say this one, 606A.
606A. Mr. Troutlow.
All right, now you say you took photographs, sir, of the defendant during halftime as well?
Yes, I did.
I'm going to show you a photograph that is approximately 8.5 by 11 of a appears to be the defendant holding an umbrella. This one is a vertical photograph, people 606B,
606B
and a horizontal photograph of the defendant holding an umbrella, people 606C.
and C.
Mrs. Robinson.
Showing you people 606B and C, sir. Can you tell us whether these are photographs that you took?
Yes, they are.
And are those accurate depictions of the photographs that you took on that date, January 6, 1991?
Yes, they are.
What color are these gloves, sir?
These have a brown.
May I ask that one of them be put on the Elmo for further questioning, Your Honor?
Which one?
And then 606C?
606C.
Can you tell us, first of all, with respect to this photograph, when it was taken during the game?
This was taken at halftime,
And how far away from him were you when you took this photograph?
roughly 10, 15 feet.
Can you describe the weather?
Very kind of rainy, obviously, damp.
Throughout the game?
Yes.
Now, for this photograph, sir, did you use a flash?
Yes, I did.
And was there any artificial lighting?
The artificial lighting was from the TV cameras, TV lights.
I mean the lights that are on the
Lights.
video cameras?
On the video cameras, or I'm pretty sure they might have had some lights that were on the field.
Can you tell us what kind of camera you used?
I use a Nikon. I have two Nikons, 8008 and FA.
And was there any special processing that you gave to this photograph?
Nope.
Or any of these photographs, sir?
Nope.
I'd like to mark one further photograph.
D as in David.
Yes.
606D.
606D as in David. Do you see what appear to be raindrops or any moisture on those gloves, sir, on this photograph 606C?
Yes.
I'm going to show you 606D. Can you identify this photograph, sir?
Yes, it was a picture also taken after the game that was used without a flash.
And this is another photograph of the defendant wearing those gloves at that game?
Yes.
Was this a post-game or halftime photograph, sir?
Post-game.
So there was no artificial lighting for this photograph?
Right.
May I ask that the photographs 606C, B, C, and D be passed around to the jury, Your Honor?
All right, if you'll hand them to juror number 7. Thank you. Could you just hand them down as soon as you finish looking? Thank you. retrieve those photographs, please, and may I see them, please? I'm sorry, Ms. Clark. Yeah. Thank you.
Your Honor, I have here photograph 606E through J that I've marked and shown to counsel. I'm going to show them to the witness and ask if he recognizes them. Can you tell us, sir, if you recognize those photographs I've just marked as 606E through J?
Yes, I do.
And what are those photographs of, sir?
Pictures of defendant
And
doing an interview, post-game interview.
can you tell us, as you review them, sir, if these are all post-game interview photographs that you took
Yes,
of the same game on January 6, 1991?
yes, they are.
Your Honor, I'd like to place on the board at this time the photographs that I gave to the court, and we'll label them. For the record, that was 606A is on the board, it's to the far right, Your Honor. I'm going to ask you to put up also 606B.
Mr. Renken, would you hand this to Ms. Clark, please?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Gerald has done this. Okay, and 606 Your Honor. And are these all true and accurate prints of the photographs that you took on January the 6th, 1991, sir?
Yes, they are.
And if we may put the label indicating the date and the witness's name below those three photographs, 606A through C.
You may.
Thank Your Honor, we have a we have a video clip that we'd like to show.
Mr. Reporter, please. Uelmen, there's something I need to take a look at out of your presence. Let me ask you to just slip back into the jury room. We'll call you out probably in about 5 or 10 minutes. Drawn from the courtroom, and Mr. Bill Renken is still on the witness stand. Ms. Clark, you indicated that you had a videotape
Yes, Your Honor.
that you were going to play for Mr. Renken to see if he can identify what's on the videotape.
Correct.
All right. And how long is this videotape?
How long is the video clip?
It's approximately about 7,800 frames, so about
That tells me a lot.
about 4 minutes.
Okay. 2,000 a minute? Okay. All right, we'll mark the videotape then, prosecution next in order 607. All right, let's see the videotape. Mr. Fairtlow? Yep. right. Ms. Clark.
Thank you. Mr. Renken, do you recognize the videotape that is shown in this segment, sir?
Yes, I do.
And can you tell us if you were present when this film was being shot?
Yes, I was.
With relation to the photographs that you've testified to previously, 606 A through J, were these photographs taken during the game depicted in that videotape?
Yes, they were.
And do you recognize the videotape shown as being the game you were present at on January 6, 1991, when you took the photographs you've already testified to, sir?
Yes, I do.
Mr. Blasier? Any voir dire as to this issue?
Mr. Renken, had you ever seen this video before today?
No, I haven't.
Had you ever been told you were going to be shown a video?
No, I haven't.
Now, was this video being taken while you were taking your pictures?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
And how do you know that?
How do I know?
Yes.
Because I was there.
Well, but I mean, how did you know that this was the Kansas City Buffalo game that you were at?
Excuse me, that was the Bengals-Oilers game.
All right, Bengals and Oilers.
Excuse me?
How did you know that that was the game that you were taking pictures at?
I was present.
How do you know that?
The video?
Yes.
By the, well, for example, there were Bengal players running behind the defendant during the interview.
I'm asking you, how do you know it was the same game you were at versus some other Bengals versus Houston game?
Because it was a playoff game.
Okay.
And the weather conditions.
And what tells you about on this video that this is a playoff game?
Because of the nature of what the defendant's wearing, the total atmosphere of the video,
The atmosphere, what do you mean by the atmosphere?
people behind it, the weather conditionings.
That's all the questions I have.
All right. Counsel, I think there's a sufficient foundation at this point. It appears to be the same game. The post-game interviews with the coach and the quarterback appear to be the same individuals. They appear to be positioned in the same manner. It appears to be the same point in time as a post-game. It appears to be a video at the same time that these photographs were taken, so I think there's a sufficient foundation for the videotape. All right. Let's have the jurors again, please. And Ms. Clark will go to 3 o'clock. Make sure they're waiting in the wings. Okay, let me see counsel at the sidebar without the court reporter. Mr. Cochran, Ms. Clark. All right, thank you very much, counsel. Ms. Clark, you may continue.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, Your Honor, I'd like to mark the video clip as People's Next in Order 607.
Seven.
Before I do, hold on. First of all, Mr. Renken, I'm going to ask you to look at this video and tell us if you recognize what is depicted in it.
It's defendant doing a commentary about, I imagine, probably the first half, scores, stats, overall commentary of the first half of the game.
And when you say the game, sir, what game are you referring to?
That was the playoff game with the Bengals versus Oilers
And where was that?
at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati.
And is this the same game from which you took, you previously identified still photographs that you took in 606A through J?
Yes, they are.
Okay, so this is a videotape of the game that we had the still photographs for from you.
Correct.
Can you tell us, noting the umbrella in the defendant's hand in this frame, sir, what time, at what point in the game this video is shot?
Well, again, it's at halftime, and it could be 2:45, around that area, 3 o'clock.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to play the rest of this video, sir, and ask you at the conclusion of the videotape to some further questions concerning what you see.
Sure.
Directing your attention to the defendant's left hand holding the microphone, sir, can you tell us if you see what appear to be raindrops on that glove?
Yes.
Thank you. See rain or would it maybe rain or some kind of mild snow on the hat and jacket of what's his last name? Esiason, thank you. I was going to say Boomer.
All right, this is at frame 5439.
Thank you, Your Honor. Do you see?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Bless you.
Stop. Back up one. Right there. Can you see the wrist area of the defendant's left hand in this frame 6775 here?
Yes, I can.
You see an area of his flesh exposed underneath that wrist area, sir.
No, I don't.
That's on the defendant's right hand, sir.
No. It looks dark in nature.
Keep going. Recognize that? Do you recognize that video clip, sir?
Yes, I do.
And that's a clip of?
Bengals-Oilers playoff game, January 6, 1991, at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati.
Thank you, sir. I have nothing further. If I may ask that Mr. Fairglow hold up People 606 so the jury can see it. I think that it was difficult.
All right, thank you, Mr. Farlow. Mr. Blasier?
Mr. Renken, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
January 91 in Cincinnati, that's a pretty cold time of year there, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
And was it very cold?
It was cold, rainy, moist.
And it's not unusual, I take it there were a lot of other people in the stadium with gloves?
I imagine.
Brown gloves?
All different kinds of gloves.
They're not particularly unusual to have brown gloves in the cold and wet.
I assume.
In fact, did you notice in the video that everybody that was walking around in the background behind Mr. Simpson was also wearing gloves?
I didn't really pay that much of attention, but I assume in that climate of weather, individuals wear gloves of any nature.
Now, how cold was it that particular day?
Could have been in the 20s, early 30s.
Did you at any time get close enough to Mr. Simpson to determine whether or not he had a heat pack in the palm of his hand under the gloves?
No, I couldn't tell.
You know what I mean by a heat pack?
Yes, I'm familiar.
Have you seen those used at football games? Keep your hands warm?
Sort of.
Now, you notified the prosecution that you had pictures when, for the first time?
You need to answer that? It
Yeah.
was June, around 26th.
And that was while they were still presenting their case in chief?
Sustained.
June 26th?
Around June 26th, Jack Webster, former employee of Europhoto, sent out the 20 by 30 poster print.
Okay. Now, I think you indicated that some of those pictures are at the beginning of the game and some are at the end of the game. Is that what you indicated?
Halftime and at the end of the game, right?
Do you have any from the beginning?
No, I don't.
All right, now the ones up here, which one is from halftime and which one is at the end of the game?
The ones from halftime, sir, are the horizontal, him holding the blue umbrella.
All right, the first one of your pictures on the left?
Yes.
I don't know what the letters are, Judge. And the one from after the game is the one on the right?
Yes,
Right. Now, was it raining during this whole game?
pretty much.
Did Mr. Simpson have an umbrella most of the time when he wasn't on camera?
There were times I remember seeing him without it in the runway area, but then when they did the interviews, except for the post game, there was no umbrella used, but the halftime there was.
Now, you notice in the picture that you've indicated is from the halftime, and you can come down here and look at it a little more carefully if you'd like to, that around the wrist area of the gloves, they appear to be bunched up like there's extra leather.
Oh, well.
You notice that?
Sure.
And that's consistent with what you saw that day?
Well, I wasn't looking at his gloves.
Okay.
And I wasn't looking at how they were bound up. I was just shooting the...
All right, Mr. Renken, you need to speak so the jurors can hear you.
I was not so interested in shooting the gloves. I was shooting the individual at the time.
Now take a look at the one from the post game. You see also that it's bunched up around the wrist area? Here's the extra leather.
Since last night, evidence of the photograph speaks for itself.
Oral.
Take a look at the after game. Would you agree that in all the pictures that you took, that you reviewed, it also shows that there's extra folds of leather in the wrist area?
Objection, characterization, extra full.
Sustained.
Now, would you like to look at your other pictures and tell me if they appear to be consistent with the ones you just talked about on the board?
Yes, they are, sir.
Those are all consistent with what you've told us about?
Yes.
Now, I think you indicated that the video was, the first part of the video was halftime,
Yes,
about 2:45, I think you said.
about that time.
Could we have the video started from the beginning, please? Stop, please. Back it up. Stop there, please.
0544.
See the time on the tape, Mr. Renken?
Yes, sir.
That's not halftime, is it?
That's not halftime?
That's the beginning of the game, isn't it? Before the game.
Could be. It's... oh, I see. Okay, the five... I'm sorry, I didn't understand what the 5:44, okay. That's the actual time of the footage, right?
You're the one that identified the videotape. You tell me.
That's correct.
What?
That was quite a while.
It indicates it's 12:03, doesn't it?
Excuse me?
The video indicates 12:03, doesn't it?
Yes.
And that's the pregame, isn't it?
Oh, okay, excuse me. That was the pregame interview.
And you see down on the right hand, by the wrist area, you see that same bunching up?
Objection, characterization, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Does the video here The right-hand area, the wrist, look the same as your pictures?
Yes, they do.
Ms. Clark? Well, give my regards to all my friends in Cincinnati. Thanks a lot.
I will do, Judge.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Take care of the people called Kevin Schott.
All right.
Yeah, maybe we could.
Sure. All right, thank you, counsel. Ms. Clark, you may call your next witness.
Thank you. People called Kevin Schott.
All right, Mr. Schott, would you just stand right here by the court reporter, please? Face Mrs. Robertson, our clerk.
Raise your right hand, please. You do solemnly swear that the testimony you may give in the cause now pleaded before this court should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Please have a seat at the witness stand and state before you first and last names for the record.
Kevin J. Schott, Kevinj, or Schott.
All right, Ms. Clark, I'm sorry, do we have a correction? Thank you. Ms. Clark?
Mr. Schott, can you tell us what you do for a living?
I'm a teacher.
And what do you teach, sir?
I teach photography,
And where is that you teach photography?
Orchard Park High School,
And where is that?
in Orchard Park, New York.
New York?
Correct.
How do you spell that? Orchard?
Orchard Park,
I'm
correct.
sorry, I misunderstood you. Thank you.
Try and keep your voice up.
Okay.
All right, sir, directing your attention to the date of November 21st, 1993, can you tell us where you were on that date?
I was at Rich Stadium in Orchard Park, New York,
And for what purpose were you at that stadium?
to take photographs for my students.
Was there a game going on at that time?
Correct.
What game was that?
The Buffalo Bills against the Indianapolis Colts
And where did that take place?
at Rich Stadium,
In what state?
New York,
Is that upstate New York, sir?
Western New York.
Now, while you were there, sir, did you take photographs?
Yes, I did.
Going to show you, and did you send us some photographs, sir? By us, I mean the district attorney's office.
I didn't, my lawyer did.
I have a photograph here. I'd ask be marked People's next in order
608.
608. Show you people 608 and ask you, sir, if this is the photograph that you sent to the district attorney's office.
It is a photo that I sent to my lawyer.
And is that the photograph that you took at the game on November 21st, 1993 in New York?
Yes, it is.
Going to show, ask that I have 3 other enlargements, Your Honor, 608, if they could be marked 608 A, B, and C. First of all, A, full face of the defendant.
Actually appears to be from the waist up.
From the waist up, Your Honor, thank you. 608B, a close-up shot of his right hand holding the glove.
Actually appears it's a white gloved hand holding the microphone is what it appears to be.
A black gloved hand on the microphone. And a close-up of the defendant holding the microphone in his right hand. Let me see if I can distinguish it. That does not go as far down as his waist. People 608C.
All right, so marked.
Showing you these photographs, sir. That's 608A, B, and C. Can you tell us if you recognize these photographs?
Yes, I do.
How do you recognize them?
They're photographs that I took at the game.
Now, can you tell us, sir, where you were when you took these photographs?
I was on the sideline of the Buffalo Bills, and I was on the Bills side.
So you were actually on the field.
Correct.
Can you tell us how far away you were from the defendant when you took these pictures?
I would say approximately 10 to 14 feet.
Do you recall what kind of camera you used?
A Canon EOS 630.
Did you use a flash, sir?
No, I did not.
Can you tell us what time of day it was when you took these photographs?
Approximately 11:30.
And what was the lighting conditions? What was the weather like?
Relatively sunny. I believe it was a little cool towards the morning.
Now, did you send the negatives to us for these photographs for authentication?
I believe my lawyer did, yes.
May I ask that the photographs be taped onto the board, Your Honor, and labeled?
Yes.
as indicated?
All right, Mr. Fretlow?
ask that while Mr. Krueger is doing that, we pass around one of these 608A?
All right, 608A, if you hand that to juror, let's hand it to juror number 165. Let's make him first for a
Thank
change.
you.
Just for the record's clear, that's 608C that you've handed to 165.
Thank you, Your Honor, yes.
All right.
On the board, Your Honor.
Yes.
Label indicates Kevin Schott, 11/21/1993, Colts versus Bills.
The development of these photographs, sir, I'm sorry.
It's corrected. The photograph that's actually being passed around that 1386 has right now is actually 608A. All right, the record should reflect that each of the jurors has had the opportunity to view 608A. Ms. Clark?
Thank you, Your Honor. Did you send these photographs out for development at a lab?
The film to be developed?
I'm sorry, yes.
Yes, I sent the film out to be developed.
All right, was there any special processing that you requested on this film?
No.
Mr. Blasier?
Good afternoon, Mr. Schott.
Good afternoon.
How are you doing?
Fine, thank you.
November of '93 is when these pictures were taken, correct?
Correct.
In Buffalo.
In Buffalo.
Do you live in Buffalo?
I live in Orchard Park.
Is that near Buffalo?
It's near Buffalo.
November in the Buffalo area generally isn't cool. It's generally very, very cold. Was this an unusually warm day or a cold day?
I'm not a weatherman, but in Buffalo, in November, we could have some days where they start out cool. For example, today I believe it's getting warmer, and the afternoons can warm up.
Okay, but in November, I mean, we're just in early
Correct.
September.
Right, but in November, you could have some nice days where it's cool in the morning, and then it will warm up.
Okay. How many people were in the stadium, roughly, if you know? Was it sold out?
My best guess is yes, it was, but I don't know that for a fact.
A lot of people wearing gloves?
I don't believe so. I wasn't looking for that.
Okay, so you don't know.
I really don't know.
Was there anything particularly unusual about wearing gloves on that day?
No.
Do you have men's gloves?
Yes, I do.
Now, are these the only pictures that you took?
No, they're not.
Okay, and where are the other pictures?
I take it you're referring to that afternoon.
Yeah, I meant that afternoon of Mr. Simpson.
Of Mr. Simpson?
Yes.
I believe the district attorney has what I printed up.
Okay. But these are the ones that you've identified here in court today, and that's actually only two different pictures, is it? Am I correct in that?
Correct.
Now, I think you indicated you have a lawyer
Yes, I do.
dealing with these pictures.
Yes, I do.
When did you send these pictures to the prosecution?
Objection
I,
vague.
Sustain. Phrase the question.
When did you send the pictures that you took of Mr. Simpson to the prosecution?
Objection vague.
Overruled.
I talked to my friend who happens to be my lawyer, and I believe it was somewhere between June 23rd and June 26th
This year.
of this year, 1995.
Did you try and sell them to Inside Edition before you sent them to the prosecution?
I did not try to send him an Inside Edition.
Did your attorney on your behalf try to sell them?
I don't believe he did either. I'm not sure.
Was contact made with Inside Edition to try and negotiate the sale of these pictures?
It may have been, I don't know.
Did you authorize him to do that?
No, I did not.
He did it on his own?
I,
Sustain.
Were you aware of your agent, your attorney, was attempting to sell these pictures?
Objection, mischaracterized, mistakes testimony.
Sustain. Rephrase the question.
Do you have any knowledge of your agent, your attorney, trying to sell these pictures on your behalf?
Objection, mistakes testimony.
Overruled.
I don't know what he was doing. I just submitted the photos to him, and I asked him to look into it for me.
Look into what?
Look
How much
into-
you could get for them?
No, I asked him to look into sending to the prosecution to share the evidence.
When did he contact
Or
Inside
if-
Edition, if you know?
I don't know if he did.
Objection, Your Honor, assumes fact not evidence.
Sustain.
Who's your
He's already-
lawyer?
He's indicated he doesn't know if it happened.
Who's your lawyer?
Robert Lee.
Is he here with you?
Yes, he is.
Where is he? In the courtroom?
No, he isn't.
Upstairs?
Yes, he may be.
Will he be around after court today?
I believe so.
That's all I have this time.
All right. Any redirect, Ms. Clark?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor.
Are you paying Mr. Lee, sir, for his services?
No, no, I'm not.
How long have you known him?
Long time. I can't put a time on it.
Is he your friend, sir?
Yes, he is.
Is he acting as your agent in any capacity?
He may be. I don't know. He's just a good friend helping me out.
Now, you said you took other photographs other than these that depict Mr. Simpson in the gloves?
Not in the gloves. No, I have other photos of Mr. Simpson.
Okay. In which he's not wearing gloves?
Correct.
And did that involve another event during this game?
Yes, it did.
Did you show those?
Let's wind it up.
Did you show those photographs to me yesterday, sir?
Yes, I did.
And was that the first time you shared those photographs with the prosecution?
I believe it was.
And where do you teach photography, sir?
At Orchard Park High School.
Thank you. I have nothing further.
Mr. Blasier? All right. All right, Mr. Schott, thank you very much, sir. You're excused. Thank you for coming out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take our recess, mid-afternoon recess. Remember, all my admonitions to you will be in recess for 15 minutes, all right? Thank you, sir. The Simpson matter, all parties are again present. Jury is not present. Mr. Blasier?
Yes, Your Honor, two things. I asked the prosecution right after we broke if I could talk to Mr. Lee, Mr. Schott's attorney, as I may want to ask him one or two more questions, and I'm waiting for that. Also, I asked LAPD to bring over item 94, which was a glove taken from Mr. Simpson's residence, that I'd like to have lodged with the court. I don't know if I'll use it, but Detective Van Adder needs it to be lodged with the court so he can account for it.
Okay. We'll mark the glove then. Ms. Clark will mark it People's 609 for identification purposes. 609. 609. Yes, please, Detective, thank you. And is it a glove or a pair of gloves? A glove. A glove. A glove. A glove and paper bag. Do you want to see that first? Ms. Clark, have you seen the contents?
Yeah, a long time ago, Ron. We all have.
Very quick schedule matter. About is on Dr. Dutton's testimony with the court. I think Mr. Bailey has some counsel. I just want to know when the court wants to address that matter. Is it with the other?
Haven't even seen it yet.
No, I
Just got
understand.
it.
I understand. This afternoon?
No, I'll take a look at it at the conclusion of the court day, see what it is, and see when it is I want to do it.
So not this afternoon?
No, not this afternoon.
Okay.
We have RFLP set for this afternoon. All right, Ms. Clark, is Mr. Lee available to chat with Mr. Blasier before we move on?
Yes, Your Honor. I asked immediately at the break when Mr. Blasier informed me he insisted on speaking to him that I asked that he be called down, and it just took a while, but he's coming down and he will speak to Mr. Blasier.
All right, Mr. Blasier, you want to chat with him briefly before you move on?
Yes, also, if we could have the next witness, so I can make my cumulative objection.
Okay, Mr. Blasier saying that, Your Honor, because I already told him that I would, I voluntarily have eliminated three more witnesses to black gloves. And I would propose to conclude the glove presentation with Stuart West and Mike Romano and Deborah Gadara.
All right, are these all brown glove people?
No, two are black glove and the last one is brown glove.
All right, why are we doing black gloves?
Because those particular photographs show a fit that is very significant for the witness, Richard Rubin. These are very brief. Neither one of them involves video. And they're very late in time. One's December of '93, the other one's January '94. We've already, you know something, Your Honor, we have eliminated from our list now 7 witnesses that we had proposed to call because the court keeps indicating that it's going to rule these things cumulative. We have pared it back now to the very bare bones. This testimony is not, in fact, taking very long.
Be that as it may, it still doesn't mean it's not cumulative. One, we got brown gloves, not black gloves. I mean, wouldn't you have put on your most recent black glove person first?
No, I didn't, because I need to lay a foundation in the beginning and at the end, Your Honor. No, this is important. This is important, Your Honor, because Nicole Brown bought him these gloves in December of 90, that's right. She bought them on December 18th of 1990. It is important to show him wearing the gloves close to the date of purchase as well as close to the date of the murders. And that's what we are attempting to do, is to show a course of wearing these gloves from the time that they were purchased to the time of the murders. And that's obviously important, Your Honor.
They have an early one, and Mr. Schott is December of '93. That's a late one. We have 2 sets of black pictures.
That's November of '93, not December.
Okay.
What's your latest black glove?
May I show you the photographs we want to show,
Oh,
Your Honor?
what is your latest black glove, Counsel?
January '94.
And who is that?
That's Mr. Romano. And it's important, may I show you, Your Honor, the photographs that we have?
Well,
There's only-
why do we need, first of all, the gloves that are in evidence are the brown gloves, not the black gloves.
I understand that, Your Honor. But the nature of the fit is very important, obviously, in this case. And I would like to show you the photographs we're talking about so you will appreciate what I mean.
Thank you. All right, which one is which? One, Mr. Simpson appears to be wearing an NBC turtleneck.
The horizontal photograph in which he's wearing the turtleneck that's taken indoors is the January '94 photograph. And you can see the Eris label in it. You can also see the cashmere lining in that photograph.
I dispute, you can see the label, but they're black.